Sunday married Adaeze 3 years ago. Sweet, gentle Adaeze, who smiled softly and spoke quietly. On their wedding day, Sunday's friends slapped his back and congratulated him. "You found a good one," they said. "Peaceful, calm, she won't give you trouble." Oh, if only they knew what was coming.
You see, Adaeze was peaceful for exactly 6 months. Then something happened that changed everything. Her best friend, Ngozi, came to her house one afternoon crying. Her face was swollen, her wrapper torn at the edge. "What happened to you?" Adaeze asked, alarmed. "My husband," Ngozi sobbed. "He beat me because I bought a new wrapper without asking his permission first. He said I'm wasting his money. He said I'm a useless wife who doesn't know her place." Adaeze's face hardened. "Where is this your husband now?" "At home. Adaeze, please. I just came to talk. I just needed someone to..." But Adaeze was already tying her wrapper tighter around her waist. "Show me where he is." Adaeze, "No, don't cause trouble. It's between husband and wife." "Husband and wife?" Adaeze's voice rose. "A husband who beats his wife like she's an animal? That one is not marriage. That one is wickedness. Take me there, now." Ngozi had no choice. She led Adaeze to her compound, crying and begging her to let it go. But Adaeze was not interested in letting anything go. She found Ngozi's husband, Emeka, sitting under a tree, drinking palm wine with his friends. He looked up when Adaeze stormed into the compound, surprised. "You!" Adaeze pointed at him. "You are the one that beat my friend?" Emeka laughed, looking at his friends. "And who is this one? Ngozi, did you go and bring your wayward friend to my house to insult me?" "I'm asking you a question." Adaeze moved closer. "Did you beat her or not?" Emeka stood up, his face darkening. "Woman, I don't know who you think you are, but you better leave my compound before you what?" Adaeze challenged. "Before you beat me too? Try it. Touch me and see if you will still have hands to use tomorrow." The other men started laughing nervously. This woman was serious. Emeka's pride was wounded. He raised his hand as if to push Adaeze away, but she was faster. Whack! Adaeze slapped him so hard his friends heard it from where they were sitting. Emeka staggered back, shocked. Before he could recover, Adaeze grabbed a nearby broom and started beating him with it. "You like beating women, Abi?" Each word came with a whack of the broom. "You think women are your punching bag?" Emeka tried to fight back, tried to grab the broom, but Adaeze was like a woman possessed. She beat him, chased him around his own compound, while his friends watched in absolute shock. Ngozi stood there with her mouth open, unable to believe what she was seeing. Finally, Adaeze stopped. She threw the broom at Emeka's feet. "If you ever raise your hand to my friend again, I will come back. And next time, it won't be a broom. It will be a real koboko. Do you hear me?" Emeka, panting and humiliated in front of his friends, could only nod. Adaeze turned to Ngozi. "Pack your things. You are staying with me until this foolish man learns sense." And that's how it started. That was the day Adaeze became the terror of husbands in the village. Word spread like wildfire. "Did you hear? Adaeze beat Emeka with a broom in his own compound, in front of his friends." The women whispered it with secret smiles. The men whispered it with fear. Sunday heard about it at the market. His friend Chidi came to him concerned. "Sunday, your wife beat up Emeka yesterday. You need to control her before she disgraces you."
Sunday went home that evening planning to talk to Adaeze, but when he saw her cooking dinner, humming softly, smiling at him when he entered, he couldn't bring himself to believe she was the same woman who had terrorized Emeka.
Adaeze, he said carefully, I heard something today. They said you fought with Emeka. Adaeze didn't even look up from her pot. I didn't fight him, I disciplined him. There's a difference. You beat him with a broom. He beat Ngozi with his fists. I only used a broom. I was actually being gentle. Sunday sat down heavily. Adaeze, you can't go around beating people's husbands. This is not your business. Not my business? Adaeze spun around, wooden spoon in hand. When my friend comes to me crying with a swollen face, it becomes my business. When women are suffering in silence because their husbands think they own them like property, it becomes my business. But Adaeze, there are proper ways to handle these things. You can report to the elders. The elders? Adaeze laughed bitterly. The same elders who tell women to be patient, to endure, to pray about it? No, Sunday. Some men only understand one language, and I'm fluent in it. Sunday saw the fire in his wife's eyes and knew there was no reasoning with her. He tried a different approach. What about me? What about my reputation? When you go around beating, people will say I can't control my wife. Adaeze's face softened. She came and sat beside him. Sunday, my husband, I love you. You are a good man. You have never raised your hand to me, never insulted me, never treated me like I'm less than human. But not every woman is as lucky as I am. Some women are dying slowly in their marriages, and I have the strength to help them. How can I just watch and do nothing? Sunday sighed. He loved his wife. He loved her fire, her passion, her sense of justice. But he worried. Just be careful. Not every fight is your fight.
Adaeze kissed his cheek. Don't worry. I know what I'm doing. But she didn't. Not really. Because after the Emeka incident, Adaeze became bolder. Women started coming to her with their problems. And Adaeze, she handled each case the same way, with direct, aggressive action. There was Okafor, who refused to let his wife visit her family. Adaeze marched to his house, packed the woman's bag herself, and told Okafor, if you have any complaints, you can come and meet me. Okafor, who had heard what happened to Emeka, kept quiet. There was Pastor Chinedu, who preached about love in church, but called his wife stupid and useless at home. Adaeze stood up during service one Sunday and exposed him right there in front of the congregation. This man you people are calling man of God calls his wife a worthless idiot. What kind of God does he serve? Pastor Chinedu resigned the next week. There was Ifeanyi, who spent all his salary on beer and left his wife and children hungry. Adaeze ambushed him at his favorite beer parlor, dragged him out by his ear, and made him give his wife money right there on the street. The whole neighborhood watched and laughed. One by one, Adaeze dealt with them. The women loved her. They called her our defender, our protector. They would see her in the market and shower her with blessings. God bless you, Adaeze. You are fighting for us. But the men feared and hated her. They gathered in groups complaining, this woman is a menace. She is destroying the peace of our community. Someone needs to put her in her place. Sunday heard all of it. Every day his friends would tell him, your wife did this, your wife did that, your wife beat up another husband. He was torn between pride in his wife's courage and embarrassment at her methods. One evening, after Adaeze had publicly humiliated a man for slapping his wife at the market, Sunday tried again. Adaeze, please, you are making too many enemies. These men will come together and what? Adaeze challenged. What will they do? Fight me? Let them try. I'm not afraid of them. That That's the problem. Sunday's voice rose. You're not afraid of anything. You don't think before you act. You just hear a woman has a problem and you rush in swinging. What if one day you are wrong? What if you attack a man who is actually innocent? Adaeze paused. I'm never wrong. I can see wicked men from a distance. I can smell their wickedness. No one is right all the time, Adaeze. No one. But Adaeze didn't listen. She continued her crusade. And then came the incident that would change everything.
A young woman named Blessing came to Adaeze crying. She said her husband Ikenna had beaten her because she came home late from the market. She had bruises on her arms, tears in her eyes, and Adaeze saw red. Take me to him, Adaeze said, already getting ready for battle. But Adaeze, Blessing said nervously, he's different from the other men. He's very strong, very stubborn. Maybe we should... I don't care if he's the strongest man in Nigeria, Adaeze said. He put his hands on you and he's going to answer for it. Let's go. They went to Ikenna's compound. Ikenna was outside fixing his motorcycle. He was a big man, muscular, with a calm but serious face. When he saw Adaeze storming towards him with Blessing behind her, he stood up slowly. You are Ikenna, Adaeze demanded. I am, he said calmly. And you are? I am the woman who is going to teach you that you cannot beat your wife and get away with it.
Ikenna looked at Blessing, then back at Adaeze. Is that what she told you? That I beat her? She didn't just tell me. I can see the bruises on her arms. Yes, there are bruises, but I didn't put them there. Liar. All of you men are the same. You beat your wives and then you deny it. I'm not denying anything, Ikenna interrupted, his voice still calm but firm. I'm telling you the truth. I did not touch my wife. Those bruises came from somewhere else. Do you think I'm stupid? Adaeze moved closer. Do you think I would just believe your lies? I don't think you're stupid. I think you're angry. I think you rush to judgment without asking questions. And I think you're about to make a very big mistake. Something about the way Ikenna spoke, calm, confident, unafraid, made Adaeze pause, but only for a second. She had beaten stronger men than this. She had terrified bigger men than this. Your wife came to me for help, and I'm going to help her, whether you like it or not. Ikenna sighed. Then he did something unexpected. He called out, Mama! Mama Ikenna, please come out here.
An older woman came out from the house, Ikenna's mother. What is it, my son? Please tell this woman where Blessing's bruises came from. Mama Ikenna looked at Blessing with disappointment. The bruises came from me. I disciplined her yesterday because she stole money from my purse. 1,000 naira. Ikenna doesn't know about it yet because he was at work. I was planning to tell him today. The air went dead quiet. Adaeze turned to look at Blessing, whose eyes were now on the ground. Blessing? Adaeze's voice was suddenly uncertain. Blessing started crying. I'm sorry. I needed the money and I knew if I told you the truth, you wouldn't help me. But I needed someone to defend me from his mother, who is always troubling me. So you lied? Adaeze felt her world tilting. You lied about your husband beating you? You lied to me? I'm sorry, Adaeze. I just thought... But Adaeze wasn't listening anymore. She was looking at Ikenna, who was standing there with his arms crossed, waiting. I apologize, Adaeze said, the words feeling foreign in her mouth. I was wrong. Yes, you were. But here's the real problem. This isn't the first time you've been wrong. You just haven't known it. How many other men have you attacked based on one-sided stories? How many other wives lied to you like Blessing just did?
The others were different. They were telling the truth. How do you know? Ikenna challenged. Did you investigate? Did you talk to both sides? Or did you just hear a woman crying and decide the husband must be guilty? Adaeze felt something she hadn't felt in a long time. Doubt. Most of them were guilty. I know they were. Most, but not all, And you don't even know which ones, do you? Because you never bothered to find out. You just swung your broom and moved on to the next one. The words hit Adaeze like physical blows. Because deep down, she knew Ikenna was right. She had been so sure of herself, so confident in her judgment. But what if she had been wrong before? What if she had beaten innocent men? I was trying to help, she said weakly. No, Ikenna said, his voice still calm but cutting. You were trying to feel powerful. You were trying to be a hero. Real help requires patience, wisdom, investigation. Real help requires knowing the truth before you act. But you just wanted to fight. Adaeze felt tears stinging her eyes. She turned and walked away, Blessing's apologies following her down the road. When Sunday came home that evening, he found Adaeze sitting quietly in the corner, not cooking, not talking, just sitting. What happened? He asked. Adaeze told him everything about Blessing's lie, about Ikenna's words, about the doubt that was now eating her alive.
What if I was wrong? She whispered. What if some of those men I beat were innocent? What if I've been the villain all along, thinking I was the hero? Sunday sat beside her. Part of him wanted to say, I told you so, but he saw his wife's pain and chose compassion instead. You weren't completely wrong, he said. Some of those men deserved what they got. Emeka did beat Ngozi. Pastor Chinedu was verbally abusive. Ifeanyi was neglecting his family. You helped those women. But what about the ones I might have wrongly accused? Adaeze's voice cracked. What about the damage I did? Then you learn from it, Sunday said gently. You admit you made mistakes. You change your approach. You don't stop helping women, but you become wiser about how you help them. Adaeze was quiet for a long time. Then she said, Ikenna didn't fear me. All those other men, they feared me and that's why they backed down. But Ikenna stood there, calm, strong, telling me the truth even when I didn't want to hear it. He defeated me without raising a finger. Maybe, Sunday said, that's the kind of strength you should have been using all along. Not the strength of fists and brooms, but the strength of truth and wisdom. The next day, Adaeze did something she had never done before. She went back to Ikenna's house. I came to apologize properly, she told him, and to ask, how did you stay so calm? Most men would have fought me or run away, but you just stood there and spoke truth. Ikenna smiled slightly. My father taught me that the loudest person in the room is rarely the strongest. Real strength doesn't need to shout. It doesn't need to prove itself. It just is. Can you teach me? Adaeze asked. I want to keep helping women, but I want to do it the right way. And so began Adaeze's transformation. Ikenna, surprisingly, became her teacher. He taught her how to investigate before acting, how to listen to both sides of a story, how to identify when women were genuinely in danger versus when they were just being manipulative.
Word spread again through the village. Adaeze has changed though. She's not fighting anymore. Some women were disappointed. Our defender has become soft, they complained. But Adaeze didn't care, because now, when she helped women, she was actually helping them, not just attacking their husbands. She set up a small counseling group where couples could come and talk. She learned about resources for women in real danger. She became wiser. Sunday watched his wife's transformation with quiet pride. One evening, he said, I'm proud of you. You had the strength to admit you were wrong. That takes more courage than fighting. Adaeze smiled. I still fight sometimes, but now I make sure I'm fighting the right battles. And what about Blessing? Sunday asked. Adaze's face hardened. Oh, that one? I made sure everyone in the village knows she's a liar. She won't be deceiving anyone else anytime soon. Some things still require my old methods. Sunday laughed. His wife still had fire in her. She had just learned to control it. As for the men in the village, they learned an important lesson too. The ones who are genuinely wicked learned that they couldn't hide forever. Adaeze was still watching, just more carefully now. And the innocent ones learned that truth and calmness, like Ikenna showed, could win battles that fists never could. So remember this story. Remember Adaeze, who thought she was always right until she met Ikenna, the man who defeated her with truth instead of strength. Remember that good intentions without wisdom can cause harm.